All right, take it away.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're calling from. This is HashiTalk Africa. And my name is Oluwaseyi Oluwawumiju. And today I'll be taking you through a ride on how Azure is collaborating with open source. What are the advantages to this collaboration? And you can also check on this event. Actually, I'm doing a pre-record. So if you have any question for me, you can just put it on the chat window and I'll get on it when I'm on the talk live. Now, let me give you a little introduction about myself. My name is Oluwaseyi Oluwawumiju, as I said earlier. I'm one of Microsoft's most valuable professional in Africa, and my space is all from Office apps and services. And also, I am a Microsoft certified trainer, and also badged the, uh, the badge of being the regional lead for West Africa. I'm a consultant. I've been consulting over 18 to 20 years. I'm an author and also an international speaker. And you can follow me on those handle. That is my Twitter. That is my LinkedIn. You can just type it. Now, before we begin, I always like to give this intro whenever I get to my presentation. Why? Because I read about a lady years back in 1866. I think she died around June 27, 1953. Her name is Mary Elizabeth Anderson. Now, what's unique about this lady was that uh, a day she was driving out of her car, driving in the snow, and she noticed that most cars are stopped, and most of those cars had snow all over the windscreen and nothing to remove it. And what baffles her at that time was that every time there's a stop of a car, a young man, a young lady comes out. Then there was men that were driving, few ladies then, tried to take something like a stake or something to remove the snow from the screen. And that brought an innovation to her mindset. And that was the turnaround to the car and the automobile industry. She was able to develop what we call a windscreen wiper. Until today, you can drive through the snow, you can drive through the rain. Once you have a wiper, you know something is going to take away the water from the windscreen. And that is what innovation is all about. And where are we going today? We're going to a reality show where we have an open source having an interchange, a collaboration with already known standard OEM company like Microsoft, and our focus on the cloud provision. So our agenda is on threefold. One, we're going to look at Microsoft and open source. Is it real? Is it happening? Secondly, we're going to look what are the benefits we get from open source, and our target, we're going to streamline our talk through HashiCorp and also looking at one aspect of their tool called Terraform. What has Terraform brought about on the table? What has been brought about to change the way we can provision, we can automate, and also manage some of Microsoft um, cloud provision. And finally, I'm going to direct you to some resource where you can get some things online. Now, in the past, to be real, there has been a boxing match between open source and Microsoft, and that is not a story. And why is it like that? Because the open source market gives room to all the techies to come in, use the tool without paying. And on the other side, Microsoft has standard OEM that standardizes processes and sells on the market. Now, these two battles has been there. The tech industry has been divided into two, where Microsoft and the likes of Google or AWS actually were using their product, selling their product, standardizing their product, improving it, especially in the cloud provision, while the open source market is giving their code for real, free of charge. And this has been a division that I've cut across all the IT industry. Where do I stand? But now, started with the journey of Microsoft with Linux, they have been able to have an interchange, a collaboration. a love relationship. Now, in the reality now, we can have Microsoft in love and also working with Linux. And almost all the open source solution runs on Linux for the provision of the standard or the environment for other codes and other provision applications to run on it. So many news has gone out where we have Microsoft actually embracing Linux, embracing open source. It is not a story anymore. It is now a reality. It's something that we need to go. You can go online and check it. These are some news I gathered. And we can see even the industry is embracing it. People are actually seeing this collaboration as a reality check, as a way out. I might be used to an open source and a techie person. I can actually leverage on Microsoft Azure, Microsoft cloud solution, and provide my customer, my client, the best tech-notch solution, even at a given time, using all the tools I have. The community also has grown. Innovation is now integrating, and enablement has been brought into place, like the HashiTalks company. They actually brought tools by which we can use to enable, automate, simplify how we manage our tools on the cloud. Now, there has been an interchange of contribution. Now, the community is growing. Now, the open source community and also Microsoft community is growing because this collaboration has brought about people coming together, having a common goal, and releasing products that can easily change the way we work. And one go-getter at this point is the acquisition of GitHub. Now, GitHub brought about a turnaround to Microsoft integration into the open source community and bringing more people to come in. And what this does is that it enables us to have a better solution, a better timeline, application, reality, especially in terms of software development and on the cloud has become simplified. As I said, the contributor of most open source is on GitHub, and the takeover, sorry, my English, the acquisition, sorry for that, of GitHub has given rise to integrating not only Microsoft, but every other open source provider to have a common pool of resource. Now, in cloud narrative, so many information have been gathered. You can see the graph talking about the project, and Microsoft in its own has been able with the time and with this integration to have also a bit into the project provision from the open source provision, open source market, giving room to a better integration and better knowledge. Now, let's now take a dive. What is Microsoft's strategy? Now, as I said, it's very flexible, providing a flexible platform. Not only providing a platform, integrating with open source solution provider like HashiTalks, like Linux, and making them to have their tools, enable the tools to be able to integrate properly in the cloud provision. Now, this gives room to what? An extendable, strong ecosystem. And no system can sustain itself when they are divided. They said a divided house is running into domination. There is no way we are going to be divided on the point and we get to the right point. So now this can now extend to enterprise. So an enterprise company can easily onboard onto Azure using architect Terraform, provision their that's Kubernetes solution or the container solution with ease and with little or no issue on the line of provision of this solution. So the partnership has begun and the partner is there. Now let's look at HashiCorp. I've been talking of Microsoft, what Microsoft has been doing, and let's look at a little bit of HashiCorp. HashiCorp has been able to provide tools. The major tools are the 4.6 you can see, and the one we are used to. And one thing about HashiCorp, people knows the tools even more than their names. And that is the irony. People have been using Terraform, they have been using Vault and Console and even Nomad, not knowing the provider or the company. HashiCorp has been there. The ecosystem of HashiCorp has been there for a long time. And that brings me to introducing you to the streamline of my presentation. And that is how Terraform has been able to collaborate with Azure and have been able to bring a better solution and gives the client and the customer a better reason to go on the cloud technology. Now let's look at how do we see the collaboration between the open source and Microsoft space. Now, in this one, we are looking at HashiCorp. I can categorically say what this collaboration that HashiCorp brings is just defining infrastructure as a code. What do I mean? I want to bring my VM, spin it up maybe in few minutes without resistance, without issues. I can just use the code through the tool of Terraform and provide my infrastructure without having issue. Other tools which are common, as I said, Terraform stand out in terms of the Azure provision. We have Vault, we have Nomad, we have Console, but I will be talking more on the Terraform. Sorry. So the next thing we're going to look at is how do we benefit from this collaboration? We have seen whether the reality in terms of checking the reality about the collaboration. And I can assure you in reality that this has happened. And I can give you track record of what Microsoft have done with the open source community by acquiring GitHub, giving them a better pool of bringing in a larger ecosystem and a stronger build between Microsoft's solution and also. Now we have also seen how we have been able to integrate with Terraform using Azure provision by providing, using Terraform to provide Azure infrastructure, making it as a code. Now let's look at the benefits. Now you can see across board, all the list there are just some open source which we are going to look at. But generally, our target, if you look at on the management portal, you see Terraform. That's the logo of Terraform. And one thing about Terraform, also even in most of the Microsoft provision like Azure Stack, it plays a major role in trying to provide and building up and spin up VM, which is easy and reliable. So we can see Terraform standing out here in the management stack, showing that in the open source market that Azure is actually embedding, that is working with, Terraform lies there. Now let's look at Azure Open Source Cloud Infrastructure. How does it apply? You can also see here under operation, we have Terraform. You can see architect under developers. You can see that the ecosystem is building. And this shows you that Azure is just creating a platform while other open source are working on it to make it work, to make it more smooth and landing process to be more achievable. The truth is that 70% from 2007, 2017 rather, 70% of people really don't know where and what cloud infrastructure will look at, what are the priority they need to look at. And sometimes they guess in terms of security, 50% of them look at security. Is it more secure? Is it less secure? Now, another aspect that plays a little role is 48%, who talks about probably the management. And that is where Terraform comes in. Now, in terms of security, the layer is coded, layer is more secure, especially when you are using your universal account. And one thing about Terraform, because of the integration with Microsoft, you are logging in with the security security identity that is already provisioned on Azure. That means you can log in into the platform without actually, because it is smooth in the back end. Your integration is smooth. You can log in and you can easily have access to your resource group from Azure. Two ways you can use Terraform is when you use Azure Cloud Shell and you install the Terraform code on it, the shell provision, the shell program, or you use Azure Cloud Shell, the one integrated in Azure Portal. All this provision has already been provided, and the backend have been integrated to Azure Identity and also all the resource group, and your storage group is created on Azure. Advantage of HashiCorp. One, cloud infrastructure automation. And this is real, that's the real core of the turnaround of Azure infrastructure. Now, cloud technology has given us the advantage of speed, has given us the advantage of security, has given us access anywhere. Now, the question now is that how easily do I provide this? How secure is this provision? Because the myth there in the early adopters is that how do I secure my data? How do I secure my infrastructure, my resources on the cloud? Obviously, their mindset was that most cloud provision are actually owned by the OEM providers. But the truth is that with the SLA sign, both by Microsoft and Terraform, is give you a binding advantage where you have a secure platform. You can easily connect to it, and running off your infrastructure takes less time. Spinning up a VM in less than 5 minutes is obviously a great advantage to a very big enterprise, and spinning up a VM to accommodate your core and line application gives you the advantage to easily go to the market, and working with even the CID and CD provision in terms of the DevOps provision, where you can have your solution going to DevOps operational standard. With HashiTalks, this can be achieved. Another thing advantage of HashiTalks is to simplify your infrastructure management. Now, this tells me now that I can easily update my infrastructure. I can easily create my VM, create my container. Now, when you're creating it, what Terraform does is that it stages each one after the other. It provides the network, it provides the resource group. For it start creating the resource group for you. If you don't have one, you look at your subscription on Azure, it creates it. Then it also creates the network, it creates your VM, it spin it up in a way that all your provision is ready. All you need to do is just manage it and work with it. And that is the advantage of this collaboration. Now, the question why? Why do I need Terraform on Azure? One, it is already pre-integrated. Now, and that's one thing about the open source market, and that's what gives HashiCorp an advantage in terms of landing with other OEM that actually provide cloud solution. Now coming home with Azure, what it means is that even when I'm in Azure environment, because of the pre-integration with HashiCorp environment, I can easily spin up my solution with ease. Two, is a community-led. It is not isolated. Now, the truth now is that for years, I think since 2007, my date is right, 2016, 2017, there has been a long run, a long relationship with HashiCorp and Microsoft, where they have already created an ecosystem in terms of community where solutions are together built in terms of module and their provision on GitHub. Now, another advantage why we need Terraform on Azure, because it's an enterprise ready solution. it is not just limited to small business. It is enterprise led. It can scale up as a cloud, depending on your cloud provision, whether you're scaling up or scaling down. This gives you that advantage to easily transform, centralize your infrastructure and make it easy for accessibility. How do I get started? Sorry, because of time, I might not be able to get a simple demo, but I'll just give you an highlight to how you can get started quickly. First of all, you need to create an Azure account. If you don't have one, just go to Microsoft Azure portal. There's a free Azure account that can go for $200 at least the first month. Required to provide your card and the rest. And if your establishment already have Azure, you just need to use the account. The next thing is to install and configure Terraform. Now, as I said before, that because it's already integrated and it's ready, all you need to do is to go to your Azure portal, try to look at your Azure Cloud Shell, then integrate and install the shell for Terraform, that the files for Terraform to the zip file, you run it on it. When you run it on it, it provides you with all the necessary command that you need for creating your VM. So once you have that done, you just go ahead and create your VM and say, voila, within a few minutes, you have your VM. I might actually show you a video afterward if I still have time. If not, you can just reach out to me. I'll just send you the link on the chat when you are live, and I can easily send you the code. The video for you to watch. Now, what are resources you can get resources on open source. You can even mail Microsoft through opensource@microsoft.com to have more information. And you can see the link there. Now, you can get more for Terraform on Azure by going through these three links. Learn HashiTalks.com, Terraform, Azure Intro A to Z. You can also go to Azure integration with Microsoft. You can go to azuremicrosoft.com and overview of Terraform and the advantage. I don't know if you have any question. As I said, this is a pre-recorded section. You can just send your question and I will look at it while we are live and I will answer it and give you a better direction. And I thank you all for listening to me. I hope I've been able to give you an highlight of what the collaboration between HashiCorp, Terraform, and Microsoft Azure is, and what are the advantages you get from it. Thank you, and have a good day. Stay safe. Thank you very much.